I was in San Diego for the Fully Charged live event where I was able to see and sit in Aptera's Gamma prototype. And there were a couple of things that I heard that made me pause. Stay tuned to find out what those were. Aptera definitely stole the show at Fully Charged Live. Now I know other channels have mentioned this. I think it's worth mentioning again and showing you the draw that Aptera had. Now I think part of it is people see a crowd and they want to know what's there. Why are people standing there? But not only did that crowd draw people in, but the car kept people there. There was a line to go sit in the front seat that took a half hour. I stood in that line to go sit in the front seat. It felt like we were in a line for Disneyland. I've been to other car shows, the LA Auto Show, we went to the Electrify Expo show earlier this year, and there was nothing like that popularity that I saw with Aptera here. So that's great. People are interested, and I hope that means that Aptera is going to be getting a lot of support. Let's talk about the exterior. So the first thing that I noticed was the roof. It's a fully functional solar roof, whereas before with the Alpha that I saw earlier this year, that was just, it's part of the prototype. It wasn't functioning, it was just kind of to show you what it might look like. This roof actually works. I heard them say that they have charged the car with this roof, and in person it looks really amazing. I can't wait to see my car, which is going to have the full solar package on it. It will definitely look like nothing else out there. I liked how they integrated the stoplight in the back now. It looks really nice, fits with the design well. Gamma had actual mirrors on it, where Alpha had the cameras. I actually like the look of the mirrors better than the cameras, but maybe I'm just used to how vehicles look with mirrors here, since in the US we don't have any cars that use cameras for their side view. And I would much rather have cameras. My Chevy Bolt has a 360 view when I back up. I really like it a lot. You can see much better than you can if you were to look over your shoulder. So I hope the regulations can change soon and we can install cameras on our Apteras for better efficiency and better vision overall. It was noticeable that the wheel pants were lower than with the Alpha prototype. So Steve from Aptera Owners Club measured it. It's about 3.5 inches clearance, and that's about the same clearance that you get in a Lamborghini Aventador. So it's very low to the ground. I guess they might raise that. Again, this is a prototype, not the final production model, so it might be something that comes up. Hopefully so. I feel like in most situations you're going to run into a lot of scraping with clearance that low. Now, you'll notice that there's this dark gray material at the front and the back of the wheel pants that's going to be made out of a material that can be scratched and not really worry about it. It's supposed to be changeable too, so if after a while those parts get too messed up, you can easily change them out and get some new parts. Now, of course, the reason why they want it as low as it is because they want the best drag coefficient they can get. And I don't think this is new, but the logos they have in the front and on the side look really cool. I hope they make it to the final production model. Now, because the line to sit in the car was so long, I didn't want to stay inside too long and hold up the line. So I felt rushed. I wasn't able to get the footage that I wanted, but hopefully you can still get an idea of what it looks like. Plus, there's lots of other videos out there right now to get a feel for what the interior was like. First thing I noticed when I sat inside was the yoke. Now, I got to touch it. It felt nice. It felt sturdy. I personally feel if a steering wheel feels cheap, it kind of makes the whole car feel cheap. So the yoke felt nice, and I hope that that's the one that they keep for the production model. I'm wondering if the whole yoke thing is going to be a trend of the 20s. Tesla has their Model S Plaid that has the yoke. I haven't been able to drive it yet. I think it looks really cool. I'm just wondering how practical it is for everyday driving. I'm a kid of the 80s. I loved watching Knight Rider, so I know I'm going to enjoy it at least for a couple days, but we'll see if it's actually practical. But I am looking forward to trying it. Second thing I noticed when I sat in the car was the center part with the cup holder. The cup holder, to me, it's weird, but it didn't really bother me. What did bother me was the material that they were using for that center piece. I heard that that is not going to be the final material, and I'm glad for that because it reminded me of like wrinkly, dirty skin. The material looks dirty. Apparently it's not. That's just the way the material looks, and I'm glad that they're not going to use that as the final product. Both of the displays were turned off when I got in the car. The main display in the center looks like a good size, and the two in the front look like they're placed really well. The cool thing, I'm sure most of you know, is the air conditioning is going to be coming from the display itself. It's pretty cool. I'm wondering how that's going to be during the winter when the heat is blasting, especially in really cold climates. Is that going to affect the electronics of the display? I guess we'll find out. I really wanted to experience the UI. To me, software is very important. I wanted to see where they're at with their user interface, see how it feels and how it looks. If you enjoy the footage that I've been getting, please consider donating. There's a link in the description. These events do cost me money, and it would be really helpful to get a little bit of help, so thank you for your consideration. So I was walking by one of the presentations, and I had thought I heard Chris Anthony mention something about using Aptera, basically like Tesla's idea of the robotaxi, where you could lend out your car using the Aptera app. I wasn't sure that this was actually a thing that I heard or if it was my imagination. Luckily, the Aptera Owners Club filmed that whole talk, so you can go watch it. It sounds like it's something that could be a thing in the future and not necessarily something that they are planning for right now. But it's good to know that they're thinking about that. Part of me would love to lend out my car when I'm not using it to make some extra money. Another part of me doesn't want strangers messing with my car, so if it actually ever does end up happening, we'll see if I end up using it. And the last part, I believe I overheard Chris talking to someone next to the Aptera saying that the Tesla plug will be the plug that Aptera uses because CCS is too big for where they want their charge port. Now, this might be old news. I'm not an Aptera only channel. I don't follow Aptera as closely as I'm sure a lot of you do who are watching my videos. Maybe it's old news, but it is something that I believe I heard directly from the CEO, that the Tesla plug will be the plug that they use for Aptera. If you were at the event, I'd love to hear what you thought of Gamma. And if you weren't able to make it, what are your opinions on the newest prototype? Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.